Hey everybody, welcome back to my coverage of the PogChamps 3 tournament. This is the xQc versus Pokimane match, game 1. And yes, this match was delayed. This is the fourth match of today. Normally there are only 3 matches per day, but this is the fourth match because it was delayed because xQc got caught up in that Texas power outage. And also, going off of that, this is both players' second match of today. Pokimane had that match versus Rubius, which she won, and xQc won his match versus Daniel Negreanu. So both players on a hot streak. Who will continue their hot streak and who will lose? By the way, I forgot to show the B group standings after that xQc versus Negreanu matchup at the end. So here are those standings. xQc and Daniel with 6, Pokimane with 3, and Rubius with 0. So this is the last Group B match. So this means if Pokimane wins this match, there will be a 3-way tie for first place, and we'll have to go to accuracy tiebreakers, which that would be kind of crazy. So just something to keep in mind. xQc is the rating favorite. He also has been playing chess longer than Pokimane. However, Pokimane, we've seen some really good chess from her so far. So honestly, I could see either player taking this match, and let's just see who ends up winning. We have e4 from xQc. He has the white piece of the first game, and e6 from Pokimane, the French defense. We have knight f3 now from xQc, and this knight f3 move is not really a super common move you see on the second move of the French defense. Usually, if black does not contest the center with a move like e5 or c5 or d5, then white wants to play this e4 and d4 moves, just grabbing the center. But knight f3, it's a developing move, so it's not too bad either. We have d5 now from Poki, and e takes d5, e takes d5, xQc exchanges a pair of pawns. We have bishop b5 check from xQc, and this move isn't the best because it allows black to play c6, solidify their center more, and gain a tempo on the bishop. So will Pokimane go for the c6 move or go for something else? She plays bishop t7, which is an okay move as well. It wouldn't be as good as c6, but it's fine as well. We have bishop takes d7, and now knight takes d7 from Poki. xQc castles, and Pokimane continues development, knight g to f6. We have knight c3 and bishop e7 from Poki, d3, and now c5 from Pokimane, striking in the center. Both players playing very well so far, developing, fighting for the center, and getting castled. So this is going very well so far. We have bishop g5 from xQc, and now d4 from Pokimane, attacking this knight on c3. But xQc does not move it. He plays a little bit of a tricky move, which is playable, which is bishop takes f6, and now we have knight takes f6 from Pokimane. So just recapturing that, and now xQc's knight is still attacked, so he moves it with knight to e4. Pokimane castles, and we have knight takes f6. Bishop takes f6 and rook to e1. Just grabbing this open file, and Pokimane fights for the open file with rook to e8. Definitely, both players playing well, very, very well still. I mean, they haven't been making any mistakes, so good job to both the players here. We have rook takes e8 check, and Pokimane recaptures this, obviously. Generally, you don't want to trade rooks for nothing, but here it's almost okay because black's rooks were not connected yet since black had not developed the queen. So now black has to spend another time getting their queen off the d file, and during that time white can do the same, and they can still contest the e file in time. So it's kind of okay to trade one pair of rooks here. We have queen d2 from xQc, preparing his rook to go to the e file and developing his queen, and queen e7 from Poki. This move is a little bit inaccurate because queen d7 would have been better. You just want to get your queen off this e file because you want your rook on the e file instead. So queen d7 would have been a little better, but we have queen e7 instead, and now rook e1 from xQc, and this is another reason why queen e7 is not the best, because now you have to move your queen again, which Pokimane does with queen d6. We have queen e2, now threatening, actually not threatening back rank checkmate because the queen can block on f8, but Pokimane does move the queen again, so maybe she didn't see that the queen could defend, and maybe she was worried about back rank here on this e8 square. So she eventually moves the queen to d7 anyway, and the game continues from here. And here, a really weird move from xQc. Maybe he just didn't know what to do. This knight can't really move forward anywhere, and the queen and the rook are already on this open file, so maybe he just didn't know what to do here. But he played g4, and this is just not the move. You're exposing your king, and not only that, but you're hanging this pawn. So I think maybe he was going for g5 and attacking this bishop, but this isn't even a good plan, even if it didn't hang this pawn here, because you're just exposing your king way too much, and with queen still on the board, that's definitely not something you want to do. So will Pokimane see this hanging pawn? Yes, she does. She plays queen takes g4, and that's definitely the best move for her. xQc escapes this check with king f1, and we have queen back to d7. So defending this back rank checkmate, definitely good from Poki. We have knight e5 now, and this actually is a mistake because now Poki can first save the queen with a move like queen to h3 check, and after king g1, now Poki can pin this knight to the queen, and it won't be looking very good for white. White would have to play f4 here, and black could just give white a lot of trouble on the e-file here. So will Poki go for this, or will she do something else? Well, she does start with queen to h3 check, and king g1 is the only move, but instead of playing rook e8 here, she instead plays bishop takes e5, which allows white to get back into the game after queen takes e5, and now we have a mostly equal game. Black is obviously still better since they're up a pawn, and white's king is very exposed, but white could have gotten in a lot of trouble there. We have h6 now from Poki, just stopping any back rank threats, and queen takes c5. However, this actually is a mistake from xQc because it allows the rook to come to c8, and this is a skewer on the c2 pawn. And once the rook gets to the second rank, black's queen and rook are just going to be way too active here and will give the king a lot of problems. So even though white may be up in material, immediately after, some sequence like queen takes d4, rook takes c2, queen takes e7, we could see something like queen g4 check, and after king f1, queen f3. Yes, material white is up a pawn, but white's king is also going to have a lot of problems here, and so black is definitely better in this position. But anyway, we have this queen takes c5, and will Poki see this rook c8 move? She does play queen g4 check, which after king h1, you still have the opportunity to play rook to c8, but Pokimane instead just plays b6, and now this allows white to get back into the game with queen to c6. This is attacking the rook, and now if you come to c8 with the rook, white has rook e8 check, and the queen defends the rook. So this would force the rook trade, rook takes e8, and we would go into this queen endgame like this, where it's going to be a draw. But instead of queen c6, we see queen e5 from xQc, and so black is still better here. We have queen d7 from Poki and rook g1 from xQc. Now threatening checkmate on g7, so Pokimane has to do something about it, like play g6. Well, first she plays queen c6 check, and after rook g2, she now defends this checkmate threat with queen to f6, now defending this g7 pawn. However, this is a huge blunder because Pokimane forgot that this rook is pinning this pawn to the king, so the pawn doesn't actually defend the queen, which means this is just a free queen here. Will xQc take it or move his queen somewhere else? Well, he does take this queen. I don't know if he saw that this pawn was pinned. I would assume that he did. But even if he didn't, there's nothing Poki can do. There's nothing Pokimane can do about it anyway. We have king to f8 now, and it's just all over from Poki. Terrible queen hang from Pokimane. Really sucks for her because she played such a great game, really, up until this point. And here it's actually a mate in 3 for xQc after rook takes g7, and there's no way to defend this, so you can prolong checkmate by one move by playing king e8, but after queen takes f7, king d8, and queen d7, this will be checkmate. However, instead of rook takes g7, we have queen takes g7, which might be a more natural move since it is check, but I mean, white's up a queen, white's still obviously completely winning here. And after king e8 and queen g8 check, king d7, queen takes a8, king d6, and queen d8 check, in this position, Pokimane resigned. So the first game goes to xQc, and we'll just have to see if Pokimane can bring it back in the next game where she will have the white pieces. So I don't think I have anything else to say about this match. Thank you for watching. Check out my PogChamps 3 playlist up there, and check out the next game of this match over there on the left side of the screen. So yeah, once again, thank you for watching. Stay awesome. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.